Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with just playing a few videos that I found to really represent and explain what's been going through my mind, my opinion based on all that I've learned regarding Lima and Soft White Underbelly. So, the first video I'm going to show is from the channel High Priestess Steph. It's a smaller channel, it's small like mine, to 3.23 thousand subscribers. But she gives a lot of good insight, I think. I'm gonna play like the last third maybe of the video, or the majority of it anyways, and just talk here and there as I play. So
Lima in her pictures feels really nervous at first. She's super uncomfortable in the first one with the guy next to her. Oh, sorry, I was just about to leave. I mean, that's definitely not what you say to somebody who's giving you an opportunity to get investment, is it? I was just about to check out because I've been here for fucking ages, and like my dude next to me has been sat there awkward. We've just been sat here, like this has been real awkward. Like I was so ready to leave.
Sorry, you caught me right as I was clicking on the link. So my pitch is, to date, mental health has been an invisible problem.
She does such a lot of the wiggling that I said I sometimes do when I say something that I'm like, I don't want to say uncomfortable because it's not always it's not discomfort, but there's something in me that reacts in an electronic way. Electric pulses will like almost detach myself from what I'm saying or something like that. Anyway, I see that happen with Lima. She wiggles a lot when she's talking. She's like, and so na 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 na.
All right, well, growing up, my father was very abusive to my sisters and I.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
I remembered everything, and that's why I wanted to go into mental health.
Happy days.
But my sisters, identical twins, successful actresses, and YouTube stars, had no memory of the trauma. They had what's called complex PTSD.
okay, now in that point there, I want to stop for a second and point out that this is where I think like the potential pageantry contestant becomes apparent, in my opinion, because she's talking about this as though she's trying to convince people to find her endearing, to connect with her, to invest in her rather than what it is she's selling. And yeah, the whole, when she starts talking about the abuse from her father, like she's smiling and she's happy to be there talking about this. Like, well, okay, so like, yeah, we were like abused by my dad, and like I remember everything, and it's like, no one does that. No one fucking does that. I don't care. No one does that unless they're a fucking sociopath. And if that's the case, well, it's reason enough to be making this video, I guess. So, I'm not saying that her father didn't do shit or whatever. I don't buy the story. I don't buy the story because nothing's verifiable. Nothing's verifiable with her. Nothing's verifiable with her sister. I mean, I tell you who I am, who my parents were. You can look shit up on the internet and you can find that out easy, real easy, like within minutes. But nothing with her is verifiable. That's a red flag. I mean, it's 2023, and she's what, in her 30s, early 30s, late 20s maybe. She's gonna have a history on the internet, whether it's just through like her address or whatever, through utility bills or whatever, or the voting board of elections or whatever. She's gonna have something, and it's gonna go back to more than just a few years ago. So that's why I don't buy any of this, really. I don't know.
We know she's not very good at doing the pitch. She's not very good at reading and writing. She stumbles curiously over the exact same parts.
Invisible problem, an invisible problem.
That's, again, another reason, props to whoever edited the part in BJ Investigates, because I was just like...
A blind person trying to describe the color blue. Kind of like a blind person trying to describe the color blue.
What?
Aura is a comprehensive system that allows clinicians to see how the patient is feeling, and track recovery progress.
Progress. She gives me pageant vibes, and I mean that.
Okay, there, right there. You don't make that same mistake over and over and over and over again, unless you are either doing that on purpose to try to come off as cute and endearing and, you know, kind of stupid, you know, so you don't like threaten any of like the really smart people you're approaching for investments, or you don't do that unless you're either trying to connive people, or B, you are just a paid spokesperson. And it's not your life's passion. It's this healthcare company that you're talking about, and you can't get shit right, you know? And yeah, what's up with that dude who was sitting next to her? Like, who is that? Why would you be on video approaching potential investors for your company and have some dude sitting there just fucking very off-putting and say nothing the entire time without just introducing him, explaining his involvement for why he's there at that point in time?
Barking up that tree anyway, because it's very obvious to pretty much everybody that none of this was done to help people, except maybe people that own insurance companies.
Treatment centers make more money. And insurance companies save money. Insurance companies save billions of dollars.
Why did she put herself through all of that and go on the webcam and deliver those painfully awkward speeches or pitches? Why would she put herself through that? She didn't know her script and was reading from it. She does improve a little bit throughout time. And also by the third time, we've discovered that we have boobies, breasts as assets. Aura has assets, and the assets are displayed. And I'm like, okay, so what, we just realised we had boobies? I'm almost certain that you realised you had them when you bought them. It seemed to be that there was a certain amount of sexuality, just to me, in my opinion, again.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, she appears on Soft White Underbelly on Mark's channel there a few times. And in one video, she comes on and she's talking about, you know, her company there and this technology. And she's wearing this really tight turtleneck, these really tight jeans, and she has her hair in braided pigtails. Really? I mean, if you want to be seen as someone worthy of people investing their money with, then you gotta look the part, okay? And that's not looking the part. Yeah, this may come across as sexist or as bullshit or, you know, very superficial, okay? But it is what it is. I mean, if you really believe in something and you really want it to get out there to help people because you think that that's what you're doing, then you do what it takes to get it done. And you dress the part. You don't dress the part that's going to instead make investors want to put their dick in you rather than their income, their money. That sounds crass, but I mean, it's true though, you know? I'm sorry. Hate me, feminists, come hate me all you want, whatever. I don't make the rules. I didn't create the world. It just is what it is. And I'm just saying that when there's something you want out of people, you dress the part. That's it. The one part though where she mentions how it doesn't seem like she wants to do this because she really wants to help anyone except for, well, maybe insurance companies or whatever, or treatment centers. And though I do agree with that, I do think that that's pretty much more or less who's employing her to some degree. I'm not so sure it's insurance companies because she's trying to, one of her sales pitches is that by having this technology and offering this type of care, then you can then charge more for this type of care. You can charge insurance companies more. And she tries to sell it back to insurance companies, saying that it'll save you money in the long run to pay more for this treatment than to pay more often for the other treatment. Maybe that's true. I don't. I'd have to see the data behind that, which I can't seem to find anywhere. But that's true or not. That seems to be the sales pitch she's using. So I'm not so sure it's insurance companies that she's trying to convince or win over. I think maybe she's trying to bullshit them, but I think she's more or less doing this on behalf of treatment centers and pseudoscience companies and just whatever, things that are just either proven not to work or unproven to work. So this next video I'm going to pull from is from the channel No Jumper, and it's the Mark Laita interview, Creating Soft White Underbelly and Documenting America's Dark Side. It's an interview with the channel creator, which it's unbelievable, the lack of self-reflection some people have.
A middle-aged prostitute comes on and says, yeah, I'm 20.
Right here, he's explaining how and why he allows some lies to happen and how he can see through the bullshit on others.
24 years old. And I even questioned her on that. Like, are you sure you're 24? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll let that slide. And she just smiled. But you have to read through that, because the way I see that is, here's a woman who's supporting herself as a prostitute, which means being young and beautiful is her way to support herself. Other than that, she's down and out and homeless,
right,
with nothing to sell. So you have to understand where she's coming from. She's scared shitless that her only way of supporting herself is fading away.
Right.
So she's 24 years old, out of fear. And if you can read through that lie, you get a glimpse into who she is and what she's concerned about.
Right.
What she's scared of.
Right. I've been watching this show on Netflix called The No-Go Zones.
What I'm saying is the lies are kind of a part of the story.
Right. I've been watching this show, The No-Go Zones, that basically will take you to all the worst areas all over the world and sort of show you a lot of drug selling and a lot of prostitutes and stuff like that. And it was interesting because I watched kind of the whole season of that, and then after I got done with that, I started watching a shitload of your stuff to get ready for this interview, and it occurred to me that the main difference between a show like that and what you're doing is that you're just sort of allowing them to pick their narrative. You're not slotting them into, let's see what a prostitute's life in Cape Town is like. You're sort of just allowing them to run with whatever, and sometimes it feels like they want to tell you about the intimate details of their day-to-day work, and sometimes they want to tell you about their childhood trauma that got them here, but it seems like you kind of rarely forcefully guide that.
Direct them. I mean, sometimes I'll ask who molested them or stuff like that, which I get a lot of flack for, but I really just want to learn. That's really what I think is behind a lot of why I'm doing this, is just I like learning about myself and about other humans, and I think by understanding and learning, you just become better suited to deal with life and be happy.
Dev.
Okay, so you're just going to have to ignore the dog barking in the background. That right there, him asking them about, who molested them and stuff like that, those types of details. I feel like that kind of discussion, the only people who really want to tune in to hear that are the people who get off on that. I feel like this is another way for people who are deviants or whatever to get off on something. I feel like this, even when they talk, especially when they talk about how this or that happened when they were a child or whatever, I feel like this is another version to feed the pedos online. This is what it feels like. It feels gross. It feels exploitative. It feels disgusting. It feels criminal. I'll be honest. It does. I mean, I know it's not, and I'm not saying it should be, but Jesus Christ, people, we shouldn't all, as a society, virtually or realistically, be okay with this, And And there, right there at the end, how he says that the reason why he does this is because he enjoys it. He enjoys learning about people. He does. Not because he enjoys telling people stories. Not because he enjoys giving people a place to speak, a platform, if you will. Not because he enjoys educating the viewers. No, because he enjoys learning about people. He enjoys this. He fucking enjoys this. Because he likes to learn about people. Because he just wants to be happy. And I wonder too when he says that, so do you realize that, is that how you're happy? Is by learning about how there are all these other people who are way worse off than you. So therefore you can be happy. Like, that's how it comes off, man. It does.
December. And for 3-4 months after I came back from Memphis, I was getting phone calls from pimps and prostitutes, because that's all I interviewed on that trip. For months, every morning, I'd get, they're 2 hours ahead of us, so my phone would be.
But they want money, or they want.
I'm a white guy that peels off dollar bills for people.
Right, but they want coverage. Or they want to be on the
channel.
channel.
I mean, like the pimp and his prostitute both got arrested, so they were in jail. They needed somebody to get their bail out. And sometimes I'll help. I could easily just say sorry, no.
Yeah.
And I do that. I'm getting better at saying that. But I also know that if I go back to Memphis and I want to do more interviews there, knowing that I bailed them out of jail is going to just open up some doors, and they're going to help me, and they're going to do what I want them to do.
So let's
see that right there too. Okay, first of all, it's going to be a miracle if he doesn't get himself killed, rolled or whatever for money, and it ends up ultimately costing him his life. That'll be a fucking miracle. But also, first of all, how does he even know that any of these stories that the people are telling him are true? Like, how does he know that people were arrested? And really, is he doing any favors at that point? I mean, maybe he is. Okay, sure. But that's the whole point, though. He doesn't know. He's not any kind of professional in this regard. He's been a photographer. And especially that last part there, like, if he's buying favor with the local down and trodden whatever people for their stories. And it's like he had to stop himself from saying, because I know if I give them money, then next time I go there, they're gonna. It sounded like he stopped himself from saying they're gonna do what I want them to do.
We met with her, and she drove us around, and one thing led to another, and the one thing I learned is you make this contact, and oh, great, I made this contact, but that contact knows 4 people. And then we meet those 4 people, and this one happens to be really good, and they know 4 other people, and it just spreads out like that.
Right.
Like, I went to Kentucky, I went to Appalachia, I think 6 times last summer and fall. We started going like in September, like August or September or something like that. And I would go back every few weeks, every month. First 3 trips, I got nothing.
Nothing.
I went to Mississippi last week. Spent, it cost me like $7,000-8,000 just to go to Mississippi. The baggage alone is $450 each way. The airfare, the hotels, the rental car, my assistant. Sometimes I bring an assistant to help me drive and carry bags, and then the people that I contact with and the people I interview. You add all that up, it's close to $10,000.
But why didn't you get anything?
Because it wasn't interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it just wasn't. You've had interviews here, I'm sure. It just fell flat.
We
right?
put them out anyway.
You do? I don't.
And then they get they get judged harshly.
I only use about 1 out of 5 that I do.
You do? Oh, yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I was wondering that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking,
I've done 3,000, and there's only 700 on my channel.
Okay.
So there's a lot that you don't see.
Because I was thinking that. I'm thinking,
and
like,
you never will.
These are good, but there's got to be a lot of bad ones. I was thinking that. I'm like, there's got to be so many.
That part. I mean, he spent like $10,000 in the hopes of getting a couple of stories. Like, I mean, he's not doing that unless he's making the money back and then some. You don't go through all this bullshit, all this trouble. You don't put yourself at risk. You don't listen to these stories. You don't do that unless it's profitable. And unless you're at least making back what you put into it. And he just said he puts about $10,000 into each trip. So that means that he's got to walk away with at least one video that earns him $10,000. I'm arguing that he gets several videos that make him more than $10,000, but whatever.
I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are upset that I didn't, but it's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's got to be something like that I'm proud of, where I don't feel like the person's selling their. Like, I have a lot of pimps. The pimps are the worst, where they come on and like, oh yeah, I'm super interesting. Like, are you really?
Yeah.
and I'll take a chance, and they come on, and they're either telling a story of redemption, but it's not like a compelling story of redemption. It's just like, hey, I'm a good guy now.
Yeah. So
know?
and you're in a position
or
where
they're selling their music.
you then have to be basically kind of like judging their trauma, or like
Well, not their trauma,
your
'cause-
narrative. Like, is this a compelling narrative? And that kind of puts you in a weird
Yeah,
spot
'cause
too.
I would be happy to post nothing but content of crack addicts that got clean and tell their stories.
Right.
But I found when I do that, I did some of those early on, and they got like an eighth of the number of views as a train wreck story.
Really.
They're right there. They're right there. He's doing this for money. How is this any different than him complaining about having been an advertising photographer? That's right. I didn't show that clip. I don't think I displayed that clip, but early on in the beginning of this interview, he was saying how he was an advertising photographer and he would do these little side projects, which he's saying would be along the lines of what he's doing now in Soft White Underbelly, because that would be the things he was passionate about. That's what kept him sane. Because I mean, if you keep just taking all these fake photographs all the time of these products that you're trying to just sell to people, you know, you can't do it. You can't do it. You hate yourself after a while. He's good. How is this any different? Because he just said he would love to put up stories or whatever of these crack addicts with having found redemption and whatnot. And they're a good guy now and shit. But they don't get a tenth of the views or whatever as the train wrecks do. So he's selling himself out again. He's selling out. He's selling out again. This is no different than advertising. He's employing the same tactics that he employed as an advertising photographer. Only now he's not exploiting people's, like, I don't know, trusting nature or whatever when they look at a photograph and it's all bullshit. No, now he's exploiting the trusting nature of the product. That's what he's exploiting. And he just said too, you know, like I point out, they don't get a tenth of the views or whatever. It's the train wrecks. So he's looking for the train wrecks because he wants the views, because he wants the money. This, fuck, man.
Someone who is like presently clearly addicted to drugs.
Oh yeah, and telling a horrific story and all that.
And what does that tell you about your viewers?
People have called it pain porn.
I was thinking that literal term. I'm like, this is like pornography. I'm not sure exactly what kind, but
somebody called it pain porn. That's a great term. It's kind of like that. I mean, like when you're driving home from work.
Yeah.
And there's a 16-year-old driver who's doing a great job, and he's using his directional. He's changing lanes properly. He's doing a great job. You want to watch that, or do you want to watch the head-on collision that the other 16-year-old had who was drunk?
Right.
You're going to stop and look at the wreck. You're going to not even look twice at the 16-year-old who's doing a great job.
100%.
See, this scenario, though, that he painted right there only applies if you come home and you turn on the TV and all the channels are 16-year-old drivers. Okay? So, yeah, sure. Do you want to watch the driver who's driving recklessly, or do you want to watch one who's doing everything that they're supposed to do? How about we don't describe a world where 16-year-olds are displayed on TV as they're driving? That's the fucking problem. It's not which one people find to be more interesting to watch. It's the fact that anybody wants to fucking watch 16-year-old drivers.
Your average person who just picks up a camera and they see a homeless person and they think, oh, that's an easy thing to take a photo of. Mm-hmm. Where do you fall on the considerations that you have to make in that regard?
I treat everybody with respect. From the guy at your front door who greeted me, to you, to the president, to everybody. I treat everybody equally the same. Like, I don't treat a homeless person differently than I would treat Obama, who I loved. You know? I would treat them both the exact same way. Not different in any way. Like if I was interviewing a homeless crack addict or the president of the United States, I would treat them the exact same way. So I treat everybody the same. So if I'm doing that, am I exploiting them? I'm not sure I am. They're agreeing to it. Most of these people come to me now. I'm not coming to them, hey, do an interview with him, please do it. They all come to me and they all want to.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that if Obama agreed to it, then you would put Obama on your channel talking about his trauma. Which, I mean, the only difference between Obama and the cracked out whore or whatever is that Obama has more power than you do. Obama has more power than the other people, okay? Obama is never going to be in a situation in which you will be his only source of income. So sure, you may treat them the same, But Obama's not giving you more power than he has. These people are. And they're doing that because they have no other means of money. And you're a sure thing for money, okay? And that's why they keep coming back to you over and over again. And what I'm concerned about, too, is how many traumatic stories do you think a person is going to hold if they keep coming back to you over and over again? Like, what more, unless it's an update, but I mean, that can't be too interesting, right? Because people already heard that they're trauma porn, as you put it, which I find to be a very accurate phrase for that, because, yeah, that is. Just like when people used to enjoy reading the letters to the penthouse editor or whatever the fuck it was, this crazy stories and shit. That's what this is. Only this is for predators, because they're hearing stories of what happened to these victims, of what these victims have gone through, of the effect that this has had on these victims' lives. So these predators probably envision that this is what they're creating. Like, this is this is who you're feeding. The difference between Obama and a cracked out whore is Obama would never give you the opportunity to treat him exactly the same.
And they reported it and it got deleted. So that's gone.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. That's what my Patreon channel is for. You want nudity, you want all the rawest content, you go to Patreon and pay $10 a month and you can get that.
Oh, okay. So is that doing pretty well?
No.
Okay, so all I'm going to say to that part is I really hope that him saying if you want raw content, if you want nudity, that he was just using nudity as like a figure of speech, as like a way of like explaining like pay-per-view kind of thing, you know? But the fact that I can't say that with confidence that that's what he meant is disturbing enough, I think. But I really hope that's how he meant it.
Am I missing like this? Maybe there's a really good ender to that one.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, like I did one this morning that I thought was, I probably wasn't going to use it. And then the gentleman told me, like, I asked him, like, you know, how do you think if your childhood was different, if it may have been taken your life in a different direction? He goes, well, when I got molested, it like, oh, so then it became more interesting again.
I noticed.
Yeah, I'm going to comment on that shit. And he smiles, and then it became more interesting. Who is it becoming more interesting to? That's why use that word, and why be happy about it? Because why? Because now you're going to put up on your channel. Now you're going to get more views, huh? Now you're going to satisfy someone's appetite out there. And that's what I find abhorrent. I feel like this is just another way to deliver content to the deviant freaks out there who like to hurt people, and primarily kids. I feel like this is just another version of the CP, but just a storytelling one, I guess.
If someone's on the street smoking crack, doing heroin, meth, whatever, are they really able to consent to being on camera?
Yeah, that's a great question. In one case, the family of a crack addict, and he wanted me to keep his video up. But his family and friends contacted me, his friends mainly, and said, look, you got to take that down. He's got a respected career, and you're making him look like he's, they were really polite about it. They weren't aggressive. They were just like, can you take that down? Because it's going to ruin his career. And I don't want to ruin anyone's career, so I took it down.
Right.
But then I saw him like a couple of days later. He goes, you took that down? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I wish you hadn't. And then I'm like, so he wants it up, but it was an interesting video because it's a really intelligent talk about being on Skid Row. Rather than just he's a white guy, he's accomplished, he was a musician, he was respected, he had a great life, but he chose the street life, at least temporarily at this point in his life. And I thought it was really a deep, interesting talk, but it's gone now. I think it exists on Patreon, but it's gone from my YouTube channel.
So video is down by request, but it's still up on Patreon. So it's still up. And you just told everyone what video is up and where. How is that taking it down?
Clearly high. I normally don't do interviews with people who are high, but he was just so fascinating and interesting and beautiful. He was a beautiful, physically beautiful person. Sean, I think he's on. They all still exist on my Patreon channel.
Right.
That's the reason to go to Patreon. But I just thought he was just so interesting to look at and listen to. He spoke beautifully about how much he loved his dad, and it was a great talk. But his family called me and says, you got to take that down. He looks like an asshole. Right. So I did.
But that's a weird decision, because it's like, if he was down to do it, like who is the family necessarily to tell me what narrative should be being put out there?
Even he called me up and says, yeah, I was so high. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
So, I have his number. I may do another one later. But typically, you can't recreate magic. It worked that time because it worked. You try to recreate it, 99% of the time it falls flat.
Sure you can. You can recreate that magic. Just put another high-ass person up on video. Because that's, oh my God. I don't usually interview people when they're high. Literally every video I've watched just about involves someone high. Or maybe not everyone, but a good half of everyone I watched involved someone on camera who was high. What a dick. This next clip is likely to really anger you.
Trauma that she went through. I mean, she would come and see my studio with like scrapes and beaten up, like she'd get beaten up like weekly.
Wow.
All her teeth are gone.
Yeah.
You know, scrapes on her head, bumps here, bleeding there.
Is the one where she was wearing the overalls her first interview?
That was the first one, yeah.
And she's totally pretty, and it's really kind of weird to hear her talking about doing all these drugs and stuff because she isn't really like showing the signs that you typically see that somebody's living on the street.
Everyone gives me a hard time because I made some comment, some joke, when she tells me that like, she made some like comment about all the crazy sexual things that she does with guys, and I'm like, look, I'm a guy. I'm not an angel. Everybody thinks I'm a saint and an angel. I'm just a dude with a camera. You know, I'm not a bad dude. But
what did you say though that pissed people off?
I think I said, you know, she does something crazy sexual, whatever, and I'm like, so what are you doing later? I'm a guy. I have a sense of humor.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't show it on these videos because I have to be straight. So I play the straight man, which is hard for me because I could say some of the funniest stuff ever,
right?
But I choose not to. So that's my rule, and I follow rules. So
That's about one of the most disgusting things I think I've ever heard. Earlier in the stream, he's talking about how he's not exploiting people. He's treating everyone the same, whether they're President Obama or a cracked out whore or whatever. He's treating everyone the same. Well, I'm curious, would he have made that same comment to President Obama? Would he? Would he have said to Obama, oh yeah, what are you doing later? Would he? I'm willing to bet that he wouldn't.
Sort of clean cut white guy that you like don't do drugs, that you're not even on the spectrum of drug use. Do you think it helps you in some way that you're kind of from a completely different world?
Well,
in
see,
a way?
I treat everyone with respect, and that's how I get into the pimp world, and that's why I'm accepted into. I treat everybody well, basically, until they start just taking advantage of me, which happens. Once I start giving people support, then they start taking advantage of me, and that's when I'll back off, and that's the only problems I've ever had. But
they're not being nice to you because you're good to them. They're not being open and talking to you because you're nice to them. It's because you have money, and that's why they start wanting to take advantage of you right away. But, of course, we can't have that, because the only one who is allowed to be exploitative here is you, not anyone else. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up with playing an entire video and just watching it here with you. Now, the video I'm going to be playing is from a channel called Justice for Amanda Rabb. And the title of the video is Laita. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and I don't really care if I get it right or not. So, Mark being questionable with Amanda Rabb on Soft White Underbelly. Justice for Amanda Rabb. It's an 8-minute, 42-second video. And I think this isn't worth taking clips from. This you need to see the whole thing in its entirety.
You get more hornier than you would with another prostitute.
really,
Yeah. So they govern what I do.
who's
The government.
The government
Yeah, and the sun.
and the sun,
Yeah, the sun.
the son
God. Yes.
So the sun, and let me just get this straight. The sun and the government will make me extra horny if I have sex with you?
Yes.
What are you doing tonight? I'm just joking.
I just wanted to say, I feel uncomfortable. The guy videotaping me right now.
I don't regret helping you.
Yeah.
I would love to help you. You're lucky to have the dad you do.
Yeah. He's real soulful and American.
But you're a handful.
Yeah.
You're difficult.
Yeah.
So Amanda, it seems like the medication that your dad and I are giving you seems to be helping you.
See, the way he words it too, the medication your dad and I are giving you, like, really? You're giving it to her? You're giving it, why? Because you gave some money probably for it? Why are you trying to butt in and be like the person credited for this when she's not even your family? Like, you're profiting off of her. Oh my, this is just like, I feel like I need a shower. This is so fucking gross.
Me on the computer at home, I just be on YouTube
Amanda.
all day, listening
Amanda.
to music and Tumblr. That's it.
Amanda.
So whoever trying to scam me, they
Amanda?
need to stop.
Amanda, you basically spend your day hunting,
And why?
looking for crack, right?
Where it's supposed to be.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. So you went without any crack for how many days?
2 days.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
hold,
it.
hold on. See, you seem more clear-headed than I've ever seen you.
I mean, here's what I also don't get, and you're going to see this too as the video goes on. Like, he does nothing but interrupt her and try to stop her and try to just direct and drive and maneuver the entire conversation. Tries to push her to get to the subjects and the content that he wants her to discuss, and even possibly push her to the answers, the details that he wants her to give. But I thought that he was interviewing people who were homeless to try to educate himself and all of his viewers, right?
Okay, Daddy.
And I'm wondering if maybe the fact that you didn't have crack for a few days might have helped you.
Yeah, I really do believe that. I think this is it.
You're so cute.
I don't see nothing.
Amanda,
Make that shit happen.
let me ask you a question. Do you see that you're a little more clear-headed right now?
Yeah, like
And do you-
21 Savage, you know what I'm
and do
saying?
you-
We gotta have a skinny black guy. I think
Do you like that?
Kim K and all of that.
Do you like the way you feel right
and
now?
then you watch
Amanda,
this video.
Amanda.
Then they gotta make anti. So
Let's have a
then
co-
you
let's have a co-
want knowledge.
Let's have a conversation. Do you like the way you're feeling right now and thinking?
I thought that that's what she was doing. I thought that the whole purpose of her being there was to tell her story, was to have a conversation, was to teach you, to show you, to educate you what it's like to be on the streets or to be a person on the streets, whatever. But no, you're yelling at her. You're almost scolding her like, come on, Amanda, let's have a conversation. Well, why don't you shut up and let her converse?
The way your brain's working.
I don't feel nothing. Like, just seeing, because I'm putting y'all on, I'm just like, okay, crack money, sleep,
Well,
crack money,
this gives me hope.
No, I don't know if any of this is true.
I love your personality.
I don't hang out with
when you're
nobody.
clean, I love your personality.
But that's what I'm saying. White
cleaner.
people are real niggas. Whoever,
You're cuter than
they
cute.
real niggas. You know
You're
what I'm
so
saying?
cute. I wish you could get clean and stay clean. Hey, beautiful.
Hey guys, when I'm dead and gone, just look to hers for how I want to be and me.
So you got a bloody
You know what
nose?
I'm saying? I feel like I'm just miniature her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In a
but-
way, with knowledge,
but these-
dressing,
These guys gave you a bloody nose?
parents, and all that.
I'm worried about you getting
And
beaten up. Tell me about what happened when they beat you up. Amanda, I'm worried about you getting, I hate to say it, but I'm worried about you getting killed out here.
So I feel good about everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's so crazy dangerous out here.
Yeah.
Does he though? Does he really worry about that? Because what was it he said exactly? I gotta know. I gotta know what the exact words were here. Right there. I'm gonna go back one more time.
Parents and all that.
Oh,
In
yeah,
a way, with knowledge,
But these-
dressing,
These guys gave you a bloody nose?
parents, and
These guys gave you a bloody nose.
all that.
I'm worried about you getting
And
beaten up. Tell me about what happened when they beat you up. Amanda,
I'm worried about you getting beaten up. But please tell me what happened when you got beat up. Like, what do you want to hear exactly? What are you hoping to hear?
I'm worried about you getting, I hate to say it, but I'm worried about you getting killed out here.
Do you though?
So I feel good about
I don't think it's so much a worry, but I do think that he would see dollar signs if that had happened. Allegedly, in my opinion, whatever.
everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's so crazy dangerous out here.
Yeah.
For you to be walking around with no shoes like you are right now.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
buy
you're walking
some
around
shoes
wearing,
today.
you're wearing a tank top
I had some
and no
Reeboks,
shoes.
but I'm
How many times have I seen you wearing a tank top and nothing else?
yeah.
Pretty much that's your uniform.
Like I said,
And a
Jordan
wig.
Washington
Tank top and a
is
wig
class
and no
act.
shoes.
And just look to her when I'm dead and gone. That's it. All right, bye.
Gorgeous.
I just wanted to show off my new hairstyle, so that's it.
Amanda, what are you going to do with your life?
I'm gonna go get my card from my Aunt Gladys' house so that I can get my own apartment and get a wig, my own wig.
How can you get your own apartment? You can't even support yourself. Do you have any desire to get clean and get your life straight and all that? Or you just want to stay down here? Do you have no desire to get back to your old life, like when you were in school?
Hell no. That was boring. Everybody was fake to me.
And how is everybody to you today? I don't think you have any friends today.
Yeah, I don't have friends because I keep messing with this guy named Michael.
Take off that silly wig.
And
Take it off.
All right, I gotta know.
Your story's sad, Amanda.
Kim K.
Why does it seem like every video that the clips have been shown from so far, he's showing that his mind, his thoughts are on her not being clothed. He's pointing at her uniform. Take that wig off. Oh, you're so cute. What are you doing later? Hey, gorgeous. Hey, beautiful. Like, she's not leading the conversation there. She's not. She wants no part in that conversation. She's not even slipping up and saying something that could be construed as giving him any kind of idea. This is all him. He's initiating it.
I didn't know that I don't want Michael anymore, and
Are you happy?
how y'all see me is eye-opening, so
Amanda?
I'm constantly nervous. Am I happy? No. Being skinny, I don't know how I got skinny.
I do.
I'm pretty sure I'm a clone, so
I think that drug you're smoking might have something to do with it.
oh God, everybody's on it, so
Well, look at some of the other bodies down here. There's a lot of people that have amazing bodies. It's called the crack diet. Well, I don't think anyone knows how to help you. The police, your dad, me, no one.
you can help me by taking me somewhere fun.
Where would you like to go?
I want to go somewhere besides walking around.
I'll take
And I
you.
wanna
The whole
get-
world would like to help you, and no one knows how. I mean, your dad and I
Act right.
give you money to avoid you doing more dangerous things for your addiction. That you're gonna do whatever it takes to get your money for crack. So if your dad and I give you a little bit of cash, that protects.
I don't murder. I had a friend tell me, you still look fat or whatever. I can tell she's putting that on me.
Amanda, you're beautiful.
Now we got problems because you putting that on me.
You're beautiful.
All right,
We need to figure something out for you. I don't know what it's going to be, but
She's ignoring him whenever he says that. She doesn't want any part of that. Oh, Amanda, you're beautiful. She's continuing to talk about what she was talking about before, about her friend who called her fat because her friend, I guess, is with Michael and she thinks Amanda wants Michael. And she's like, I don't know how to tell her. I don't want no part of that. You know, don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. And he's, oh, Amanda, you're beautiful. I don't know what to tell her. I mean, I don't want Michael. Amanda, you're beautiful. Like, she wants no part of it. Why are you pushing her? Like, oh my God. Like, this is disgusting.
Today I was
it's hard when you don't want it.
And how are you liking it so far?
It's okay. I get cravings a lot.
Cravings for crack?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure. It's not easy.
it's not.
Yeah, basically you're building a new life.
Yeah.
You know, and the life you had was so dangerous and so
This is Amanda. I believe she was on Mark's channel after entering into rehab.
destructive.
Yeah.
And you were going to end up
And like I said before, like, she put on a lot of weight. This isn't even all of it. This was, I think, just a couple months or so after she started rehab. So, but still, yeah, that's a lot of weight for that small amount of period of time.
dead. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So was jail awful?
That was awful. I was always hungry. I gained like 30 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, crack is a good diet.
Yeah.
So
I want to be able to be clean when I leave.
yeah, I think, I mean, everybody wants that. Lima wants it. Your dad wants it. Your family. I'd love it. The viewers would love it. But you need to want it too.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key.
Yeah.
I think, we never talked about your mom, but your mom was never really in your life, right?
Yeah, it was hard not having a mom.
That would be awful.
Yeah, I gotta stay sober.
Yeah, you're such a beautiful girl. It'd be so great to see you
Thank you.
away from that terrible life.
Yeah.
It's such a destructive lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you know where you're going to end up. You're trying to kill yourself, basically.
Yeah.
And looking back now, do you do you regret ever getting involved in that in the first place?
No.
You don't regret it?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at your mom. So your mom was using crack, and probably still is.
Yeah.
So that's your fate, perhaps, if you don't take advantage of.
He asked, do you regret that? Do you regret getting involved in drugs? And I think that she misunderstood the question. Well, he didn't word it like that, so I think that's why she misunderstood the question. I think that he was asking her, do you regret, like, getting involved in that is how we worded it. I'm wondering if maybe she thinks he's asking her, do you regret getting involved with, like, getting off of drugs, getting clean, basically. And so, because she's like, no, I don't regret it. No, I don't regret it. And so, but rather than clarify this, what does he do? He tries to shame her for her answer by bringing up her dead mother. The fuck? This is what he's doing is going to cause so much damage to so many people. He's not being a good steward of this opportunity, of this platform, of his exploitation, which I know it's redundant, but still. There should be someone on set. There should be a mental health professional on set for each person he interviews the entire time that they're there, to at least be there for the interviewee or tell him to shut the fuck up.
Of this opportunity.
Rehab has done me well.
Yeah, no, you've done great in it. You never tried to escape. You never.
This is Amanda's last time on the channel before she passed away.
No escaping. Yeah.
You never got out of control, and you couldn't pick somebody better than Lima.
Yeah, she's great. Lima's great.
Yeah, Lima came out of nowhere and just kind of made this all happen, didn't she?
Definitely. She made a lot of things happen. A lot of things.
Your dad, and you were just some little street urchin that came into my studio with no bra on, no shirt on even.
No shirt, no nothing. No shoes. I was tripping. I watch those videos all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
How do you feel about seeing your...
Once again, he's bringing it right back around to her not having clothes on or not being clothed. What?
yourself like that?
Sometimes it makes me cry, and sometimes I'm happy.
And I told your dad, like, just put her in jail. She's going to walk the streets barefoot and probably get killed eventually. So putting her in jail for a month or two isn't going to hurt her.
I'm blessed to have you and Lima. You guys are the best, like, honestly.
Because I think there's some really great lessons to learn here. Because, like I think 100% of the people would have said you're an impossible case.
Right.
Amanda, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Mark.
Can't wait to see where your life goes from here.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Okay.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
That end part, that was bullshit. I think 100% of the people would say that you were an impossible case or whatever. Why did such a high percentage of that 100% of the people vote for her to be the one who received Lima's scholarship to achieve this help? Doesn't sound to me like they thought Amanda Rabb was an impossible case. It sounds like they had a lot of hope for her. Well, most people did anyways. Apparently, Mark didn't really have much hope for her. Here's where I'm wrapping up the end of this 2-part series. There really is a lot more to the situation than I've been able to share in these 2 parts here. And in fact, there's a lot more to this situation than I even know yet. I'm still learning about this, frankly. And I do plan to continue discussing this. I don't know how frequently, I don't know how much, but I'm not done with this by any means. And I want to just say, though, on another note, for those who aren't aware, Lima has filed a defamation lawsuit against BJ from BJ Investigates and That Surprise Witness. And I feel like I have to say this regarding that, because I think that Lima might be mixed up into more things than any of us know or really imagine. Yeah, I don't know. But my concern is that if people stop talking about this, about the lawsuit, about how she's coming for BJ in this lawsuit, if people stop talking about this, if people move on, become uninterested or whatever, I worry what that could mean. I worry what that could lead to happening. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm going to ask people to just remain interested, remain curious, want to know how this ends. Because if people don't, then I worry about what that will mean. I worry about what that will mean, not just for this case, but for other cases similar to it going forward. And for cases involving people with means trying to shut up people with less means or no means. And that's what I worry about. I worry, and it's not just like a BJ and Lima lawsuit specific. It's many lawsuits across the board, where it concerns like someone with more money or more power or something possibly, or more backing, who's going after someone else for simply sharing actual public documents found and discussing things that are true, and some things that are even opinion. And it's not to say BJ can't handle herself for the most part. I believe she can, especially in this regard. I believe she's probably more equipped than most people. All the more reason, though, because if people don't take an interest in her fighting back, then that's not going to bode well for pretty much anyone else. So I hope people continue at this. I hope people keep talking about it. I hope people remain interested and keep updating and stay involved. Because it's the lack of involvement that's going to be the thing that lets people like Lima get away with whatever she wants. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Okay, now it's time for member shout-outs. I'd like to thank
Sassy Nos, Kara, Linda Reese, Mousy Files, Peter Harrington, The Butterfly Den, Jess, She Be Me, Tiffany Hoff, Feeling Kind of Breezy, Without a Lawyer, Cindy Holden, Elizabeth Brogna, Peaches, Chanel Smith, Megan Broussard, Channel Has Been Deleted, Rena Rue, Indigo Halo, DC, Nat B from Canada, Sally Godfrey, Beta Jade, Beta Beauty, Nana Hawk, Leah, Ellie R, Cheryl, Leslie Correa, Sean Coffey, Cheryl Tobiason, Michelle Caudle, Hush Puppy, Randa Smith, Justin Farrell, Greenworm 79, Chronically B Queen B, Where the Miracles, Live Life Whimsically, Estella Havisham, Crafty Florida Lady, Sakara Bear, Sue, Skate Positive, Heather McDonald, Sassy Elmo, Reagan, Flying Mom Laura, Berber, Bo Roundtree, Verillion, Mysterious Mermaid, I'm Fucking Reagan, Osbel, Sue Elliott, Sunny D, Claire View, Jen Gerard, and Poodlerific.
Thank you very much for joining, and thank you everyone for watching.